Right, welcome back to another on-base baseball video. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I am the creator, the designer of On-Base Baseball. And in this video, we're going to have another classic replay. This time, we're going to have the replay of all replays. It's the 1994 World Series, which actually did not happen. So we're going to make it happen here in this series. We'll see who comes out on top. So basically, I just took the top two teams. Top team in the American League that year is the Yankees, and the top team in the National League was the Expos. And we're going to play them and see see who comes out the winner here. Should be a good series. Again, we're going to be using the on-base baseball game engine chart. So basically, we start on the pitcher side first, and then if there's a blank, then we'll move over to the hitter side to get the outcome for the play. If you're not familiar with on-base baseball, it's a sabermetric driven tabletop baseball game. So sort of, I don't know if it's first of its kind, but it's certainly very unique in the market. And all the outcomes are try to get as much data onto the cards, onto the into the outcomes as possible. So this is actually data based on rolls, but it's also based on, you can see here, FIP or Sierra. Those are the values that we're using for pitchers, and the values that we're using for hitters are weighted runs above average. I'm actually using sort of a weighted runs above average, which takes into account ballpark factors and era factors. So you can actually play two different ball clubs or players from different eras against each other and play them on the most level playing field that we can play them as we understand it right now. These two teams obviously are playing in the same year, in the same season, so they're going to be relatively equivalent. These outcomes are set for 2019 on the game engine chart, so it might be a little bit hot in terms of home runs and strikeouts and walks. So it's kind of the modern game today, and it's going to be reflected a little bit in this game. We have a good pitching matchup between Jimmy Key for the Yankees and Pedro Martinez. Martinez was a 22-year-old kid at the time. He'd only had, I think it's his second or third year in the league, and already developing into a star. So we're going to, I'll go through the lineups here, and then as we go through, I'll explain sort of what these numbers mean. Batting for first for the Yankees is going to be Luis Polonia. Second is Wade Boggs at third. Mattingly at first base, batting third in the lineup. Paul O'Neill, very young Paul O'Neill back then, in right field. Also Bernie Williams, very young Bernie Williams back then too. Mike Stanley catching, Bernie Williams in center. Mike Gallego, the old Oakland shortstop. If you remember Gallego from his previous days in Oakland. So he's playing shortstop. Pat Kelly at second base. Jimmy Key is pitching. So we're playing in Montreal at Olympic Stadium. So it's going to be pitchers batting in the National League Park. For the Expos, leading off is Marquise Grissom. In center, Juan Bell at second base. Moise Salou, also a very young Moise Salou in right. A very young Larry Walker at first. So this is pre-Colorado days. Will Cordero at short. Cliff Floyd, an extremely young Cliff Floyd. I think this was his rookie year in left field. Darren Fletcher at catcher. Mike Lansing hitting eighth and playing third. And Pedro Martinez will be pitching for the Expos. I'm going to explain the pitching ones here first because we're going to run into that before we run into the batters. But essentially I have a 4 and a 2-4. Now the 4 is going to be which column am I going to look at? So this is column 1, 2, 3, 4 for the pitchers. So for Pedro Martinez, his FIP that year was like 3.2, 3.25. And so he's going to be in this fourth column. So we're going to be reading first from the fourth column. So we'll take our roll and then we'll come over and we'll just read it like a matrix. So you come over here, and if it's a 1-1, that's going to be a strikeout. Same thing with a 2-6 or a 3-3 or 5-6. Otherwise, we're going to go over to the batter side. And then for the batters, we have each of their columns listed here. So for Marquise Grissom, he'll be hitting out of the second column, this column here. So we're saying 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think we only have a few players. Alou will hit out of here, and maybe Paul O'Neill. And this is your sort of MVP superstar caliber player. This is more like an all-star or a very good player. This is average to below average, and then this is your poor, below average to poor hitters over here. All pitchers will be batting out of this number 1 column. And then you see the pluses and minuses. That's for the fielding. So if there's an error check, whether the fielder is a plus fielder or a minus fielder, excuse me, is going to make a difference as to the percentage, the possibility of an error, I guess. If it's a 1, if it's an error check and we roll a 1 on the D9, it doesn't matter who you are. A 1 is an error. But if it's a 2, it's only an error if you're a minus fielder that we're doing the error check against. For a plus fielder, they can only make an error on a 1. So pretty easy and basic gameplay, and it moves relatively quickly. So I think that's enough setup. We'll have the Yankees leading off against Pedro Martinez. And so let's go with the first pitch of the 94 World Series, Game 1. And it's going to be a 3-4. 3-4 you can see here is a blank. So we go to a 3-4 in the second column, and that's going to be a double. So Luis Polonia, he leads off with a leadoff double in the World Series and brings up Wade Boggs, left-handed third baseman. There's a 2-4. A 2-4 is a blank, and a 2-4 for Boggs is going to be a double play or a strikeout. You can see that here. So with the runner, on second base, that's going to be a strikeout. So Martinez gets his first strikeout of the day. There's no opportunity for a double play. So if there's no opportunity, then it's a strikeout. Brings up Donnie Mattingly, first baseman for the Yankees, sort of getting to the backside of his career here. There's a 1-1. 1-1 is coming off the pitcher card. That's a strikeout. So that's going to be a strikeout looking. Martinez already with 2 Ks in the inning after the leadoff double. Brings up Paul O'Neill. O'Neill's hitting out of the highest column, the 4th column. There's a 5-6 and a 5-6. Also off the pitcher card. It's going to be a strikeout. And so after giving up a leadoff double, Pedro Martinez comes back and strikes out the side. So it's going to be a strikeout looking. All right, we move to the bottom of the first inning. No score. And first at bats for the Expos, the 94 Expos here in Game 1 of the 1994 World Series. So Jimmy Key's first pitch to Marquise Grissom. Key now is coming out of the 3rd column. So you can see here he has a 3. And I didn't explain the other numbers. The 2-9 is how many, that's his stamina rating. So he can go 29 batters before we need to pull him. So he has a 29. Martinez is at 24 batters. So, all right, so 2-6. 2-6 in this column is going to be a blank. And a 2-6 to Grissom, who is in the second column. This will be a ground out here. And it's going to be a ground out to the shortstop. So we look at the D9 to see where the play was made. So that's going to be 6-3. Gallegos makes the play over to first. And Juan Bell, second baseman, steps in against Jimmy Key. That's a 1-5. 1-5 is a blank. And a 1-5 to Bell is going to be a single. So he gets the first hit of the game for the Expos. First hit of the World Series. So that puts a runner at first base, and Moises Alou, the dangerous Moises Alou, steps in. There's a 1-3, and a 1-3 to Alou. It's going to be a ground out. It'll be a ground out to shortstop. anything 7, 8, or 9, I just count as a shortstop. And since we have a runner at first, we're just going to call that a fielder's choice. Sorry. So let's go 6 to 4 on the fielder's choice. Puts Moises Alou at first base and brings up Larry Walker. Larry Walker, left-handed batter against Jimmy Key. There's a 2-5 again, and a 2-5 to Walker is going to be a flyout, and it's a flyout to, a flyout to right center field. And right fielder ranges over. That's O'Neill. Ranges over and puts it away. And that gets the Yankees out of the second inning. Still no score. Each team throws a little bit of a punch with a hit in the first inning for each team, but no runs come across. So here is Mike Stanley, the catcher, standing in against Pedro Martinez. There's a 1-5. 1-5 for Martinez is nothing, and for Stanley, a 1-5 is going to be a ground out. So remember, he's hitting out of the third column. So it's going to be a ground out at a 1-5, and that's a ground out to shortstop. So it goes 6-3 on the putout. Brings up Bernie Williams. Center fielder. There's a 1-1, and that's going to be a strikeout off of Pedro's card. So he gets Williams swinging for the second out of the inning, and Mike Gallego, short of stature shortstop, stands in for the Yankees. 3-4. He's hitting in the first column, so 3-4 is going to be a double. So Gallego stands in and laces a 2-out double, and runner in scoring position now with the 8-hole hitter up, Pat Kelly. He's hitting out of the second column. So Kelly, that's going to be a walk or a hit by pitch. It's a 1 in the D9, so that's actually going to be a hit by pitch. So Martinez throws that fastball inside and clips him. So Kelly's going to go down to first, the free pass. Runners at first and second now, but the pitcher up, Jimmy Key. And there's a 1-6, and a 1-6 to Key is going to be a fly out with runners advancing. 2 outs, it doesn't matter. So it's a fly ball to straightaway left field. Left fielder reaches up and puts it away. That's Cliff Floyd out there in left. And so Martinez gets out of a jam there in the second inning. Still no score in the Game 1 of the '94 World Series. It's in some ways a fictional World Series because it never happened. But we'll see how it turns out. Will Cordero, the shortstop for the Expos, is facing off against Jimmy Key. That's the Yankees' #1 starter. 2-6 and 2-6 in the third column should be a ground. Oh, it's not. It's actually going to be a single. Look at that. So Will Cordero comes on with a single to lead off the bottom of the second inning. Brings up Cliff Floyd, the young left fielder for the Expos. There's a 1-4 and a 1-4 out of the second column. He is going to be a walk or hit by pitch. It's not a 1, so it's going to be a walk. So Floyd draws the walk. And Jimmy Key in a little bit of trouble here in the bottom of the second inning with 2 on and no one out. Darren Fletcher, the catcher, up. There's a 3-6. And a 3-6 out of the first column is going to be a fly out, but there's a plus, and that means that we do an error check. So it's a fly ball to right field. So let's just go ahead and check. If this, when we roll again, if this is a 1, it's definitely an error. If it's a 1 or a 2, it could be an error. If it's anything else, it's not. So to the right fielder, O'Neill does not make the error. So that's going to be a fly out to right. Runners are going to stay. So let's just hold all the runners. And that's 1 out in the inning. Still runners at first and second base. And Mike Lansing at the plate. There's a 1-5 to Lansing. That's going to be out the first column, and he hits a single. So a solid single over the shortstop. And that's going to move all the runners 1 base. With 2 outs, he would have scored, but as it is, we go station to station with less than 2 outs. So now we have Pedro up. The pitcher, what do? Do we try to sacrifice here? Do we try to do... I have a mechanism. Let's see if I have it on here. I don't have it on here, but I could pull it up. I have a mechanism for a squeeze. Might be a little bit too early in the ball game. So let's just let Pedro hit away. See what happens. There's a 3-3. And a 3-3 is going to be a blank here. A 3-3 here is going to be a ground out. And so that's going to be a ground out to the third baseman. We're going to go ahead and go... let's go 5-2. I like to play things a little bit more pitcher friendly. So let's just say infield was halfway, sharply hit to third, and he comes straight home with it. So he goes 5. It's going to be fielder's choice. And he goes 5-2. We have 5-2 on here. Out at home. Okay. So let's go 5-2. Runner is out at home, and the other runners advance. Okay, so still bases loaded, 2 outs, and Marquise Grissom up. There's a 4-6 to Grissom, and a 4-6 is going to be a double play or strikeout. So with 2 outs, that's going to be a K. And Jimmy Key, the impressive left-hander, gets the Yankees out of the second inning with no runs scored, even though they had bases loaded and 1 out. Tough chance for Montreal. They just couldn't get the hit to come through. Brings up Luis Polonia to start off the third for the Yankees. Here's a 1-4. The 1-4 is going to be a walk or hit by pitch. It's going to be a walk. A walk for Polonia. So a runner on first. Luis Polonia actually is... Let's pull him up. He's got some speed. That was one reason for starting Polonia over Danny Tartable that year. So let's check him out. This gives you some insight into where I go to get some of the ratings. His speed rating for 1994 was a 7.1, so we're going to try to steal second. Kind of a close ball game here. So let's try to steal second with Luis Polonia. And the way that we steal here in the game, you can see it down here, is we roll the D9, and if the value is greater than the player's speed value, so for Polonia, if it's more than a 7, so an 8 or a 9, then the runner's going to be out, otherwise he'll be safe. So the only thing that could throw him out is going to be an 8 or a 9. So let's try to steal with Polonia. It's a 4, so a steal is successful. We steal second base, and now runner in scoring position with nobody out, and Wade Boggs at the plate. So here's the 3-4 to Boggs. 3-4 is a blank, and a 3-4 for Boggs is going to be a home run. So he's hitting out of the third column, you see. So Wade Boggs deposits one into the right field seats, and that puts the Yankees up 2-0. Martinez grooved one, and Boggs hammered it out of the park, and brings up Donnie Mattingly, batting third for the Yankees. Here's a 2-3, a 2-3 in the second column. It's going to be a ground out with an error check, so ground out back to the pitcher. See if Martinez makes the play. He does. Scoops it up, and he tosses it over to the first baseman, and that is the first out of the inning. Yankees already with 2 home here in the top of the third, and Paul O'Neill comes to the plate. That's a 1-6, and a 1-6 to O'Neill is going to be a fly out. You can see that's a fly ball to straightaway center field. Center fielder reaches up and puts it away. And now Mike Stanley, batting fifth for the Yankees, stands in. Stanley grounded out in his first at bat. There's a 1-6, same result as before. It's a fly out to left field, left center. So Cliff Floyd ranges over, makes the play, and that's the third out of the inning. But the Yankees do get two and take the 2-0 lead as we go into the bottom of the third inning. So Juan Bell leading off for the Expos. There's a 3-5 and a 3-5 for Bell. Is going to be a strikeout. And if it's a 7, 8, or 9, I usually call that a strikeout looking. So Jimmy Key puts the fastball right on the corner and gets Bell looking. Moises Alou stands in. He grounded into a fielder's choice, his first at bat. There's a 1-5 to Alou, and that's going to be a ground out. So 2 ground outs on the day. That's going to be 6-3 on the put out. Gallegos to who's playing first? Don Mattingly. Blanked on that. Okay, Larry Walker stands in. He flied out to right field in his first at bat. There's a 1-2 and a 1-2 to Walker. It's going to be a ground out. And that's going to be a ground out to the first baseman, so he pulls it down the line. Mattingly with the good glove makes a play, and he'll take it 3 unassisted. So that gets the Expos out of the third inning. No runs scored. They're down 2-0 with the Yankees coming to bat in the top of the fourth, and it'll be Bernie Williams, Mike Gallegos, and Pat Kelly. So bottom of the order tonight. There's a 3-5 and a 3-5 for Bernie Baseball. Is going to be a strikeout. So he strikes out swinging, and that'll be out number 1. So that's 3, 4, 5th strikeout of the day for Pedro Martinez. Nice face of Mike Gallego. 3-4 to Gallego. And Gallego's come out of the first one, so 3-4 is going to be a double. So Mike Gallego, 2 doubles in the ball game so far, and Yankees couldn't bring him around to score. Let's see what Pat Kelly does here. 1 out, runner on second base. Second baseman Pat Kelly up to the plate. Here's a 2-2, and a 2-2 is going to be a triple. So that's a big, huge triple for Pat Kelly. Races around second, slides in safely to third. It's going to be an RBI triple, and that pushes the Yankee lead to 3-0. Jimmy Key comes up to the plate. Let Key swing away. It's going to be a 2-6, and a 2-6 is going to be a ground out, and that's going to be to the pitcher. So the pitcher looks him back at third base, makes a throw to first, and the runner's going to hold third. Brings up Luis Polonia, so 2 outs, runner at third base, Luis Polonia to bat. 4-6 out of the second column is going to be a double player strikeout. With 2 outs, that's going to be a K. So Martinez gets his 6th strikeout of the day, and he gets Polonia swinging to end the Yankee threat. But the Yankees do attack on 1 more, so they go into the bottom of the 4th inning with the lead, 3-0 over the Expos here in Game 1 of the '94 World Series. Will Cordero, the shortstop, stands in for the Montreal Expos against Jimmy Key. So there's a 2-3 for Cordero. He's batting out of the third column, and it's going to be a ground out to shortstop with an error check. So let's check Gallegos. He does snag it. He stands up. He makes a hard throw to first, and he gets Will Cordero at first base. All right, Cliff Floyd, young left fielder for the Expos. Here's a 3-3, and it's a blank here. So a 3-3 for Floyd out of the number 2 spot is going to be a home run. So you can see he's hitting in the second column, and a 3-3 is going to be a home run out of the second column. So Cliff Floyd gets the Expos on the board with his first hit of the day. and that is a solo home run here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Cuts the lead to 3-1, and Darren Fletcher, catcher for the Expos, stands in. There's a 3-6, and a 3-6 is going to be a fly out with an error check, so fly ball to right field. And error check on O'Neill, so it's a 1 or a 2, so we do need to check O'Neill. I believe he's a plus fielder. He is not a plus fielder, and so because he's a minus fielder, a roll of 1 or 2 is an error, so it's going to be a E9. So it could be a costly error for the Yankees. Let's see. Key can get him out of it and pick him up. We have one out now. Runner on first base. O'Neill just committed the error in right field. Brings up Mike Lansing. Mike Lansing, it's a 1-2, and that's a ground out with the runner advancing. So a little dribbler past the pitcher, and there's not going to be a play at second base, so the runner's going to make it to second. Lansing is going to be out at first on the 6-3. So now runner at second base with 2 outs in the inning, and Pedro steps up to the plate. Here's a 3-4, a 3-4 to Martinez, hitting out of the first position, and he surprises everybody with a huge double down the line. Just gets a piece of the ball, but gets it just inside the line in the right field, rolls all the way to the wall, and Pedro Martinez helps himself out with the RBI double. Cuts the lead now to 3-2. Yankees over the Expos, and brings up Marquise Grissom with the runner in scoring position, 2 outs. And let's see what we got here. Key with the pitch. It's going to be a 1-4. A 1-4 to Grissom is going to be a walk or a hit by pitch. It's going to be a walk to Grissom. So Jimmy Key on the ropes here. He's had lots of traffic on the bases, but only given up 2 runs so far. Let's see if he can get out of it. Juan Bell. 2-5. 2-5 to Bell. Bell's hitting out of the second column, and a 2-5 is going to be a fly out, and so Jimmy Key gets out of it again with the fly ball to left field, and that's going to be the 3rd out of the inning as left fielder reaches up and squeezes it, puts it away, and the Expos do get 2 in the inning and cut the lead now to 3-2. Well, we move to the top of the 5th inning. This is Game 1 of the 1994 World Series, fictional World Series really, between the Yankees and the Expos. New York is up 3-2 going into the top of the 5th inning, the top of their order coming up. Still facing Pedro Martinez, young Pedro Martinez. And leading off for the Yankees is going to be Wade Boggs. So there's a 4-6 and a 4-6 to Boggs. 4-6 to Boggs he's in the 3rd column, so that's going to be a double play or a strikeout. So Martinez with another K on the day strikes out Boggs swinging. And Don Mattingly steps in. He's 0-2. He grounded out to the pitcher the last time. So Mattingly is still looking for solid contact. There's a 5-6, and a 5-6 is going to be a strikeout off the pitcher card. So 2 Ks here in the top of the 5th inning for Martinez. And Paul O'Neill, left-handed hitting right fielder, steps in. There's a 5-5. That's going to be a line out, and it's a line out across the board. So that's going to be a line out to the catcher. Obviously, you can't line out to the catcher. So normally what I do is I call that a pop out to the catcher. So let's say pop out to 2. So typically in the game when a line out to the catcher comes up, I just do it as a pop up. So he pops up behind the plate and catcher puts away and takes us to the bottom of the 5th inning. Score still 3-2. Jimmy Key on the mound for the Yankees. We can see in our reports here where they are as far as their pitch counts. Martinez at 22, Jimmy Key at 20. I think the way I'm going to play the pitch counts is once the let's say in the next inning Martinez is his pitch count or his batter's base is 24, his stamina. So once he goes through the next inning, he's going to be past that 24. And so if he comes out for the 7th inning, then I'm just going to downgrade him a column. So I think that's how I'm going to play that. And I don't have as good a system here for the cards and dice engine, for the game engine, as I do on the cards themselves. The cards themselves actually have sort of a degraded past stamina outcomes, but we don't have that here listed, so we'll just downgrade them a column, and that'll take out some of these good plays for him. It'll turn any triples into doubles here on a 22. So there are some some advantages and disadvantages to going down a column. And Moises Alou starts off the bottom of the 5th inning for the Expos, and he's playing in right field in this game. There's a 2-3, and a 2-3 is going to be a ground out with an error check. So this is a ground out back to the pitcher. Let's see if he makes the play, and he does. So picks it up easily, underhanded to first, and that's going to be the first out of the inning. Moises Alou over 3 on the day. Middle of the order has really struggled for the Expos. Larry Walker stands in. He's got a fly out and a ground out. Here's a 3-6 to Walker. A 3-6 is going to be a fly out with an error check. That's a fly out to left field. So 1-2-3 is left field. 4-5-6 is center. 7-8-9 is right field. So let's roll. There's no error on the play. So that's going to be a fly ball to left field. Left fielder reaches up, puts it away. And Will Cordero, the shortstop, stands in. He's 1 for 2 in this game. There's a 5-6, and a 5-6 is going to be a strikeout off the pitcher card, you can see. So Jimmy Key gets another strikeout, and that's a strikeout looking to end the inning. Still 3-2 as we go into the top of the 6th inning. Checking our pitchers here. So Key's at 23, Martinez at 22 batters faced. Key can go 29, so he's got some longevity in him, and he's pitching well. We'll see how he goes. And Martinez has one more inning before he will get downgraded, so he'll come out for the 6th, and for the 7th, he would need to start pitching off of this 3rd column here, which is still pretty good. It's still pretty solid. So Mike Stanley, the catcher. There's a 2-3 to Stanley and a 2-3 off the 3rd column. It's going to be a ground out with an error check. Ground out to shortstop. No error on the play. So the shortstop picks it up, tosses to first, gets the catcher by a couple of steps, and that's the first out of the inning. Bernie Williams playing center field for the Yankees. There's a 3-5 and a 3-5 to Williams. It's going to be a strikeout swinging, and that's his 3rd K of the day. So not a great start to the series for Bernie baseball, but Mike Gallego has been the total opposite. He's got 2 doubles and a run scored, and he's bottom of the order has been pretty electric for the Yankees so far. There's a 2-4 and a 2-4 to Gallego is going to be a strikeout. So Pedro Martinez, he has 2 strikeouts to end the inning. Gets Gallego swinging, and that brings us to the bottom of the 6th inning. Score still 3-2. This is game 1 of the '94 World Series. World Series that did not happen, but it's happening here on the tabletop. So we're playing it out to see who the champion from 1994 is going to be. Cliff Floyd, the young Cliff Floyd, 1 for 1 with the home run and 1 RBI so far in the game. He homered in his last at bat. There's a pitch. That's going to be a 2-2, and a 2-2 off of Key's card is going to be a double. So a 2-bagger for Cliff Floyd. He's 2 for 2 on the day, and now runner in scoring position with nobody out. Darren Fletcher up to bat. There's a 2-5 and a 2-5 to Fletcher. It's going to be a fly out. And that's a fly ball to center field. Williams reaches up and puts that away. And a runner will stay at second base. Mike Lansing, the third baseman, stands in. We're in the bottom of the sixth inning. Expos are down 3-2 to the Yankees. And here's a 1-6. 1-6 for a guy in the first column is going to be a fly out, but the runner advances, so it's going to be a deep fly ball to center field. Williams ranges to the track, and it's sort of hung up in the air. So Floyd got a chance to come back to second and tag up. So we're going to say F8 with an advance to third. Puts the runner at third base, and 2 outs in the inning. I think we're going to keep. This is where you get paid the big bucks, right? Do you keep Pedro in, or do you take him out? He's reached his stamina limit. He's going to have to come down. Let me take a look at this, and then I'll come back and we'll make a decision.